Hey guys, Devin Gridley at All Father Fitness. I know it's been a while, I've been gone. Hopefully I'm not rusty at doing this because I got a very interesting topic, one that a lot of people ask questions about and nobody seems to have an answer to. And to be completely honest, neither do I, because this is something that, like many things in the fitness industry that people have questions about, is changed based on the variables in your life. And this question that a lot of people ask, myself included, is the best time to work out. This can't really be answered because of things like you have things going on in your life. You have to go to work. You have to go to school. You have family stuff you got to deal with, whatever. Now, that is just time based. Now, I figured out, or I found out, not figured out, that there are cycles in the day that you have higher energy levels and lower energy levels. And this is something that a lot of people do not talk about. And I remember many months ago when I was learning everything that I know now so I could go and make YouTube videos and help people out myself. This is a question that I looked at a lot and I could not find really anything on it. I couldn't find anything to read. I couldn't find any videos to watch. And if I did find anything, it was either just misleading or they didn't really know what they were talking about. They were all based around things in life like going to work, going to school, and it's just like they would just base it off go whatever time you're able to go into. Now, I'm not going to be talking about that because I found something that kind of explains the best time to go and the worst times to go. And I made a little graph, nothing fancy. It's really easy to understand, or at least I hope I made it easy to understand. So there's 3-hour periods that you go into a peak and a low energy mode. So let's say at the beginning, we'll go off my own experience or whatever. I wake up at roughly 6 o'clock. Sometimes I wake up earlier, sometimes later, whatever. But it's always usually around 6 o'clock. And every 3 hours you're going to either go into a high, so 3 hours after 6, which would be 9 o'clock, I would go into a high right here. And 3 hours later at 12 o'clock, I would go into a low. And then I would go into a high, low, whatever, until the day is over and I go to bed and it restarts, right? So now how this, I can't exactly, like I said, give you an answer is because this is based upon different variables. Like obviously I wake up at 6. Well, you could wake up at 4 if you're an overachiever, or you wake up at 8, or whatever time you have to wake up. Maybe you don't even go to bed at night. Like my dad, he works all night, so he works from like 8 to 6 or whatever, and then he sleeps during the day. So he's like nocturnal basically. So that's a variable that alters how this would work, and your body's going to adapt to make this work as efficiently as it can for you. Another more variables that can alter the way this graph would look is when you eat, how much you eat, what exactly you eat. So if you're eating really shitty food, obviously it's not going to be good for you and you're not going to have such a great peak. You're going to have a worse low. And it depends on how much you eat. If you eat more, you're going to have more energy, so you're going to go into a higher peak. If you eat less, your low is probably going to be even lower, obviously. So things like that, as well as sleep. Sleep is obviously a huge one because that's what sets up your day for how much energy you're going to have throughout the day, right? So if you get shitty sleep, you're obviously not going to have very high peaks and you're going to have really low lows to kind of offset the fact that you didn't get sleep or that you got shitty sleep. Maybe you did get 8 hours, but it was just not quality sleep. You just didn't get good sleep during that time. And that can happen, and it's going to alter how that graph changes, as well as, like I said before, but I didn't really go into it, how you eat. So a lot of people, when they do talk about this, they almost get to this point explaining how this kind of works, where the energy levels fluctuate going up and down. But the way they describe it is completely based upon what you eat. So when you wake up, you're going to eat, and it's going to spike your insulin. You're going to go up. And then when you spike your insulin, you're going to go into a crash. And that's not what happens. It does happen. So really, when you look at this graph, it's not going to be a straight line. It's going to be more like, it's going to be more zigzaggy. It's going to go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, but it's still going to be up in the peak area. Then it's going to go down. It's just going to be kind of squiggly lines going up and down from your insulin, going higher and lower and all that good stuff. This also can alter depending on what you're doing throughout the day. So this graph is basically roughly just if everything was perfect, if you didn't work at all, if you didn't if you got perfect sleep and you ate perfectly and everything was perfect, which obviously that doesn't happen for anyone at all probably. So this is a very very rough draft of what it would look like. So the reason that I'm able to give you a kind of estimate on the answer of what's the best time to work out is these 3 hour periods. So this actually is very similar. Mine is very similar to how this looks because I wake up at 6, 3 hours later I'm at work, and I noticed that for 3 hours, because I actually timed myself the entirety of last week, that for 3 hours I would just bust my ass at work and then I just feel so low. I would just want to pass out. I was just so tired. And I never really noticed it before because obviously I wasn't thinking about it, but also because it just is common sense to me to think that when you go to work, you're going to work hard until you're not able to work hard. But then I noticed that around the second, 3rd hour cycle, so this would be 12 o'clock because 6, 9, 12, that's when I would eat lunch and I would take a big break. And I'd feel way better after that. And I always just assumed it was because I'm taking a rest and then I ate some food. I'm obviously going to have a peak after that. But the fact that all I did was eat food and took like a 20-minute break was able to basically just completely rejuvenate my energy just didn't make a lot of sense. So when I found this little graph example, it made a lot more sense. So how you can find the answer for yourself really is when you wake up, let's say you wake up at 8, you're going to be on like right around here somewhere, right? And you're going to instantly start off at a peak and then go right into a low, or you wake up at 9. And like I said, this alters from person to person because it's not based off of what you start sleeping at right here, because this is for everyone. It's that 3 hour cycle, but your body is going to adapt to make it more useful to you. So if you consistently wake up at 9 o'clock, then it will eventually start right here instead of it starting right here and you instantly going into a low. But it's hard for the body to do that because it wants to stay on this cycle. And this graph is more of a psychological thing, which is why people weren't really able to find answers on it. It's more psychological than it is physical, which is confusing the most, myself included, because it's based around energy. Energy is obviously very physical, but it is a psychological thing, which is why finding answers for it it was damn near impossible. So like I said, I can't give you an answer the best time to work out. I can't give you the best time that is to go into work or do whatever you're doing, but you can find it for yourself. You just have to time basically when you have a peak. You notice, oh, I have a lot of energy right now, and then you notice a few hours later, oh, I feel really down. I just kind of want to sleep, lay down, relax, whatever, take a break. So you're going to have to time yourself and do that. And then you'll be able to find the answer for yourself. So for me, it actually would be really close to how this graph is right here. Around 3 hours is when I'd be at the gym. Now, when I go and say this, you don't want to start working out right at a peak, because then right as you start working out, an hour later, you're going to be dropping. And that's not what you want. You want to be working out around here. And then, so by the time you're at least halfway through your workout, you're still gaining traction into your peak. And then you're able to fall off so you won't be as tired. Because if you start working out right here, you're going to have a steeper decline into a low because you're using so much energy. Instead, you could use it right here, and how the graph would change would be like this. So you'd start right here, and your peak wouldn't be as high because you're using more energy, but your low would still stay the same. Instead of you working out right here, then your low would come even lower, and it'd be even harder for you to get out of it and go into a peak, and it'd take more time, and then it would throw off your entire psychological schedule of your energy cycle. So it is up to you, preference, or how would I say that? It's up to you on these cycle periods when you want to work out. So if 3 hours right after you wake up is a perfect time for you to work out, then that's when those life things come in. Like, if you don't work for 5 hours, then this would be the perfect time for you to work out. But if you work out, or if you're at work from here all the way to right here, then you have to wait till here to work out, right? Because you want to do it at a peak time. So that's when those things come into play. But knowing how this psychological scale is basically embedded in your brain, you can accurately give yourself a time period that would be the best time to work out. And like I said, don't work out at exactly a peak, like right when you peak. You want to do it beforehand so you don't have a super low drop. And that's really all I'm able to give you on the entire subject of the best time to work out. And it's unfortunate that I can't give you an actual answer. I really hate just giving open-ended more questions. It's like answering a question with another question, and you basically have to find out for yourself, which is both a good and bad thing, because I want to be a teacher for you and I want to be able to give you that answer, but unfortunately I just cannot. It would be fake for me to give you an answer, and it would just be me grabbing for views and skewing information. But it's also good that you're able to go and do it yourself, because if I give you information and you now learn something, but then you have to go and basically solve it. It's kind of like a math equation. If I give you the ability of how to solve a math equation, like, for example, a lot of people are in high school that watch my videos, I would assume. What is that equation? Mx plus b equals y, whatever the fuck it is. That's how you solve the equation, but you have to input the information yourself, and that's how you learn to do it and you become good at it. So doing things like this in the fitness industry will kind of open doors for you to be able to do other things yourself, instead of having to come in to me or other YouTubers or other looking it up on Google or whatever to find your information. You can kind of just do it yourself, and that's really good. Obviously, I want people to be more independent about it. I don't want, like, obviously having the ability to coach people and make money off it is good, but I don't want that necessarily. I do, but having people to be more independent about it, and me able to give them the life skills to be able to do this for the rest of their life, be able to be healthy and fit and whatever else they want to be. If they want to be a bodybuilder, a power lifter, or they just want to be fit, I want to be able to give them the tools to do that. And videos like this are able to do that. It's just unfortunate I can't give you an exact answer. But that's really all I got. Let me know down in the comments how I did, because it has been a big layoff. I think it's been like 3 weeks, maybe even up to a month since I did my last video. And there isn't a lot of information about this, so I don't really think I could have made it any better, to be honest, but I did do my best. And just let me know if it worked out or it didn't work for you, and if this graph helped or it didn't help. And if it didn't help at all, and I get a lot of people saying it didn't, I will probably try to make another video, find more information, do whatever I need to do so you guys can understand it better. But that's really all I got. So you know the drill. Subscribe, follow, whatever. I don't really remember what I used to say, but yeah, go ahead and do all that, and I'll see you in the next one.